Oxford University did a study and they found happy employees are 13 to 20% more productive than unhappy ones. 13 to 20%. That's a huge number. And this number of the happiness actually comes back to the environment that was created for these staff members. Now, that's in your control, and that's what I'm here to chat about today. Hi everyone, I'm Jade and welcome back to the channel. Today I'm talking all things environment, happy staff, and how to create spaces that your staff actually want to be in. So if your workspace was designed in the year 2000 and it is still looking like it was, the space your staff use every single day should feel beautiful and nice and comfortable and do all the things that should make them happy so they can work even better for you and your business. For decades, businesses have poured money into strategy, branding, marketing, and the poor team just sat in cubicles with one sad little plant on the table. And to be honest, in 2026, that's really not good enough anymore, and people really notice it, they feel it, and they are ready for environments that feel energizing and creative and happy. Now, you don't need a full renovation, but you do need some really intentional and aligned pieces that show your staff or your clients that you are thinking about them, that you care. So this research really is confirming what us designers have always sort of known, that environment shapes behavior, environment shapes mood, it shapes focus, culture, energy, and confidence. When people feel good in a space, they can think more clearly, they collaborate better, they stay a little longer, and they perform better. The reverse is also true. So if the space feels uninspiring, a little uncomfortable, a little depressing, it will cost you every day. And that is probably not a business you are wanting to run. So what actually makes a difference here? The research really does point to a few specific things, and how people feel at work really does determine their happiness level and how they perform at their job every day. So one of the first biggest things that came out of this research was natural light. If you have any way to help your staff be closer to natural light, have natural light pouring into a specific space that they can then utilize, this is going to be a huge bonus. Layout is everything here if you have access to natural light. This is also in the lighting of like replacing the overhead lights, replacing those fluorescents, slightly warmer, especially in break areas, reception areas, just to make it feel a little warmer, a little cozier, a little bit more loved, rather than that white, stark or blue lighting. That's not doing anybody any favors. But the next one is greenery. I love this one because I am all about plants. I love the gardens, but I'm not saying you've got to bring like a whole garden inside. I mean, that would be beautiful, but anyway, that's probably not going to survive well. You need to think about the size of plants, how many plants. Do you want a mixture between real and artificial? But visually seeing green throughout the day was one of the markers that the research showed us that people felt happy looking at greenery. So one little teeny tiny plant isn't going to do what the research shows. It's a good start, but we need to add more. And there really isn't a limit of too much. It is always going to be adding and creating those spaces with different texture greenery, larger like tree types, and then perhaps soft ferns, and that difference in color of green and the layers of greenery are really going to help your clients and customers, and of course your staff, feel loved, connected to nature, which in turn helps them be happy. And the next one, number 3, is color psychology. Now this is real, this is definitely something that I would dive deep into on a separate video, but this one really quickly is just to let you know that whatever color is on the walls might not be the right color. And if you've walked into a space for a small amount of time and you're like, I don't want to paint my walls, I'm not saying to paint all of the walls, but you can add color in artwork, in curtains or fabrics, wall art like paneling, or covering boards with fabric to hang rather than paint. Then you can just remove the boards and leave if you're on a short-term lease or something. But warmer tones, natural sort of tones that we see every day, the nice blues and the greens, they're really going to calm down the nervous system. And especially in break spaces, that space really should be feeling calming and warm and cozy, so the brain, the eyes, everything just has a chance to just slow down a little bit. Color can also be added in furniture, in decor. We can bring life to a space without even touching a wall. Color is one of the biggest mood influences that we have access to, so lean into it and use it. The next spaces is actually the break space that actually work, like really work for your staff. Your team needs somewhere to rest, to genuinely just feel different from their desk, and it's just not a plastic chair with a $2 kettle. That's really not going to show your team or your staff or anybody that you care for their rest time and their recovery. If they've just had a really big morning, they've worked, a few hours, they've gotten a really good project done or something, and they're like, oh, cool, I'm just gonna go and give myself 10 minutes to decompress, close my eyes, have a coffee, I don't know, anything. Creating that space within the work area of like the office level or a space that is not their desk is so important, so important. It feels like a breath of fresh air without being outside or having to go down elevators or wherever for a big long walk. And instead of taking that quick 10 minutes, they're now out of the office for 20 minutes because it took them 10 minutes to get down the stairs or something. I mean, this really comes back to showing that you're allowing them to rest at work in break times, allowing them to recover, allowing them to decompress after a big meeting, or having somewhere that's not their desk to just retreat to, even if it is only 5 minutes. That could mean they're working back an extra hour rather than leaving. All of these things were part of this research, which was so important for us designers, because we know that all of these spaces matter. And finally, something I will touch on is the personal touches and the sense of identity in a space. Now, this is really important if you're growing a business and you're trying to show the world and your team who you are, who you want to be. This space matters. This space matters more than you will ever realize. People will feel valued, they'll see the vision, they'll know where you're going, they'll want to jump on board your ship that's saying like, we're going forward, we're growing, we're this, we're that. And when people feel valued, they do better work. So if your space needs a little help, I have created a workspace alignment audit for you to walk through your space. It will take about 10 to 15 minutes, and you can jot down and write on the audit all the things that you might notice with fresh eyes. And from there, you can then step it out into a bit of a plan of action to help create spaces that are a little bit more aligned and a little bit more environmentally beautiful for your staff, to make them feel happy, healthy, and want to come to work every day. So if you did find this video useful or helpful, and you have a business bud, business friend, send it to them. Their space could be lacking just a little bit in something and they just aren't sure why. Then this could be the little trigger to go, oh, I think I need to improve on something. Because if you have a friend that still has fluorescent lights, you are doing them the biggest favor in the world by sending them this, so I can tell them to get rid of their fluorescent lighting. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.